It's back to business for the government after the President's address last night, marking the opening of Parliament. In the coming days, various ministries will take turns to outline in detail their priorities and plans and what they are working for the next 5 years.
Well, the Health, Education and Social and Family Development Ministries released their addenda or statement a few moments ago. They plan to sustain and overcome the fight against COVID-19, support Singaporeans affected by the virus to help them emerge stronger, provide opportunities for every Singaporean to achieve their full potential and build a caring, inclusive and cohesive society where no one is left behind. So let's break it all down with political correspondent Linette Lai. So Linette, what stood out for you?
So I think one thing you probably know about the addenda is that ministries always use it to set up their priorities for the next term. And in this year, what's interesting is the impact that COVID-19 has had on the agenda for all the ministries. It's very clear from what we have today that a lot of the focus is on strengthening social support, helping people through the crisis. And we have three ministries today, Health, Education, and the Ministry of Social and Family Development. And I think MSF in particular will have a lot to do in the coming years, especially because, retrenchments are starting, people are suffering pay cuts, those who are already vulnerable, the low income and so on, they'll be some of the hardest hit. And that's, I think this is something that we'll be seeing on the agenda of all the ministries, the impact of the virus.
Right. Let's talk about President Halimah's address last night. From the address last night and today's agenda by MOH, MOE and MSF, some main themes are apparent, like inclusiveness, resilience and social mobility. But these are ideas we've heard about even before COVID-19. So in what ways has the outbreak changed the government's priorities, if at all?
I don't think the priorities have really shifted. Like you said, in recent years, there's been a lot of talk about social mobility, inclusivity, trying to level the playing field. But now with COVID, there's a much greater sense of urgency. For example, there may be things that were planned for much further ahead in the future that they're needed now and they've been brought forward. So one example is how all secondary school students will get a laptop or tablet for learning next year. The original target was 2028, which is, so they brought it ahead by 7 years. And that's really necessary because there'll be blended learning going ahead. So students will learn both online and the traditional method. So things like that. So the priorities are the same, but certain things have been brought ahead. And of course, certain development projects especially may be pushed back or put on the back burner right now.
Right. Well, Linette, out of the three ministries that released their addenda today, two have new ministers at the helm, Lawrence Wong at MOE and Masagos Zulkifli over at MSF. Now, as you said, the COVID-19 pandemic already brings about a sense of urgency, but do you think the new and perhaps enthusiastic leaders at these two ministries will further add to more policies being pushed out as soon as possible?
So I think policies in Singapore especially really transcend personality. Traditionally, the way Singapore has done things is that it tries to plan long-term as far as possible. It places a premium on continuity, on performance as a team rather than on, any specific leader or their personality. Of course, it's not to say that these new leaders won't have new ideas, new things to bring to the table. And of course, each new leader will hope to leave their own legacy or their own mark on a ministry, but that doesn't mean that we will see policies being pushed out for the sake of it.
Well, good
so
points
I hope that
there.
answers your question.
Certainly does. Thank you very much, Linette. That was political correspondent at the Straits Times, Linette Lai. Head over to straitstimes.com to read all about the ministry's responses to President Halimah's address last night.